Hey everyone, welcome to RainPhotosClub.com. My name is Romain. This is an online platform where beginner photographers can really start to learn the basics of photography and how to use the equipment that they have, whether that's a phone or a DSLR camera, whatever the case is. You should be able to use these tips to improve your photography. So today we have a great video about 5 mistakes that beginner photographers often make. And how you can overcome these to make better photos. So as I mentioned, we're going to talk about 5 mistakes that beginner photographers make. The good news is that these are easily corrected. It's just about learning to read the situation and how to make a stronger photo in the situation that you're in. So I'm going to show you 2 photos from the same day, same subject, same scenario, everything that I took. One was just kind of taken without much thought process into it, and the other was taken with a lot of thought process into it. So we'll go into what the difference is between the two, and how you can start to implement these things in your photos so that you can start to make stronger photos. Okay, so here we have some photos of some donkeys in a field, and this is typically what a beginner photographer might do, especially if they only have a small lens or a small camera. They will kind of just look at a situation and go, oh, that looks like pretty light, and some donkeys in a field, and we're going to take a photo. And it's taking a photo, it's not making a photo. And I'm going to go through some reasons why it's not a strong photo, and hopefully this will help you to start sort of reading a situation a bit better. So the first thing we're going to look at is the horizons. So horizons are an important thing in your photo to keep straight. If the only reason that they should be, the only time that they can be twisted is if there's a very specific reason that you want to twist that horizon. So otherwise you really need to try and focus on keeping your horizon straight. And the other problem here is that it's in the middle of the photo. So it kind of cuts your photo in half, and it's just very distracting. We don't look at the donkeys because your eye keeps getting pulled because something doesn't feel right about that horizon. The next thing is that there's no clear subject, or the subject is too far away. So I want you to be looking at the donkeys in this photo, but they're kind of far away and in the distance, and they're not really, they don't stand out in any way. So you don't see them as a clear subject, and you get distracted by everything else around them because they're not standing out enough in the photo. So you really need to think about what your subject is and what you want the viewer to be looking at. That needs to really stand out in your photo, whichever photo you're taking, for it to be stronger. The other problem here is not reading the light. So all 3 of the donkeys are standing in this kind of shadowy area. And so they're dark. They're not, again, it doesn't help to make them stand out because they're in the shadow, and they're also in the shadow. The tree behind them is also shadowy, so they kind of blend with those rather than standing out from them. And then there's no composition. So like I said, there's this line which kind of intersects between the donkey and the tree, which doesn't help to pull the subject away from the background. It just kind of blends with the background rather. And the other problem is here at the bottom, you've got all this negative space, and at the top actually a little bit, but you've got all this negative space that isn't really doing anything. It's not helping the photo in any way, so it doesn't make the photo stronger. So why is it there? That's what you need to be thinking about, is why are the elements in this photo like this? You need to really think about what you're including and what you're excluding from your photo. And it's kind of the wrong moment. I mean, there's nothing exciting about it. Although there's 2 donkeys looking up, there's one looking down. It's not, so there's no thought process behind the right moment. And having the right moment in your photos will definitely make them 100% stronger. So you really need to either wait for maybe all 3 donkeys to be looking up, or for them to move into the light, or one of those things will really start to make it a little bit stronger. So those are the kind of elements I would look at to start to make your photos stronger and to start to make photos rather than to take photos. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at another photo that I took in this scenario, same scenario, but it's just a much stronger image, and we'll go through why. So like I say, this image was taken at exactly the same spot, or the same scenario, and with the same donkeys. So it's just overall, it's a much stronger image. than the other ones. And you will start to see why in a second. So we're going to go through the same things that we talked about before. So number one, the horizon is straight. It doesn't distract from my main subject. It's straight in the background, and it's a little bit faded even, which kind of helps also in this scenario. Number two, there is a very clear subject. We're looking straight at it in the photo. So we know that the donkey is where we're supposed to be looking in this photo. And there's no question about that. I know that I want you to be looking at that donkey. The light is also read very well. So I've exposed for the subject, although they're in shadow, I've exposed or made my exposure be correct for the donkey. So that we can see all the detail and we know where we're looking, rather than him being in shadow and the rest being too light. And it balances well with the background. So the background is not blown out completely. We can still see some detail in the background here, although it is lighter, but it balances enough with the shadow in the front. Then the composition is good. So we've used rule of thirds. We're not cutting the photo in half with the horizon. Rule of thirds with the donkey, and we also have a really nice leading line with this road that comes past the donkey here. So it kind of leads you in and out of the frame as well. And it's the right moment. The donkey is looking back at the camera to make a nice portrait shot. So overall it becomes a much stronger image than the image from the beginning. So I hope that this sort of lesson will help you to start to think more about how you are putting your photo together and how you are making a photo rather than just taking it. Start to think about how you're putting the elements of your photo together, and you'll really start to see your photography improve. So that's it for today. I hope that you've enjoyed the lesson. Please do subscribe at the bottom here. We do give free tutorials on the YouTube channel and on the website, renphotosclub.com. So we hope to see you soon in the next lesson, and happy photo making.